Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? I'm not starting until you blow up the chat. Let's go, let's go, let's go. How's everyone doing on this Monday? I am super, super excited. I haven't been on here in a while, so I'm super pumped to be here. And even more excited to talk to you guys, for you guys to actually get to hear from my friend and talk to you a little bit about her before she kicks us off today. As you guys know, obviously, we're in interesting times. We're in a real estate market. Oh my God, we're in a real estate market, which means you have to be the expert. You are the expert. And for those of you who don't know what GAP means, it's growth, action, and productivity. That is our goal. That is the commitment. And whenever I think about like what we want to accomplish here, what we're supposed to do on this call, I have to go back to the North Star of what GAP actually stands for. So whether you're with us at Global Alliance or you're hopping on as a guest or you're watching the recording, our goal is to bring you value by bringing guest speakers that are experts in their craft. And this speaker today, I'm super excited. I've had the privilege of knowing her for quite some time now. We've admired each other, we've respected each other, and now we get to work together. We have just watched each other's journey. And what I love the most is that she is a true expert in her craft. So many times we try to be so many things and we want to dabble in this, we want to dabble in that, but when you are a master at your craft, you know what your calling is. I want to one of the things I said on Build at Sea was the new idea oftentimes kills the main idea. And I want you to think about that. Like sometimes you guys we're chasing new things and getting away from the main thing. Well, Jessica has mastered her craft. She is an expert in the mortgage industry. She has been in multiple markets, 24-year vet. She understands financing in and out, creative financing, non-QM financing. And I think in her bio, as we think about it, she's super innovative. But what I love the most about her bio is empowering clients. And it says specifically, she connects complex financing with real world opportunities to empower the consumer and to give them confidence in the home buying process. Same as you as her partner. She's going to talk to you guys today about DSCR loans. She's going to talk to you about, how you can extract more opportunities from your database with clients who perhaps have 401ks, whether they can borrow against their life insurance or their IRAs and so many things, because you have gold in your database from people who don't even realize that they can be investors, that they can build their portfolio. And I think it starts, and also, by the way, you guys, if you're not making strategic investments, now is going to be a time where I think the wealth transfer is going to happen. So I'm super excited to welcome Jessica Sherrill. She's not only my friend, she's also our partner. She has launched Simply Mortgage of Florida. And I'm a proud partner with her. But most importantly, we want to educate you and empower you on being knowledgeable of alternative financing methods. So, Jessica, welcome to GAP. I'm super excited for everyone to hear from you, my friend.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction, Veronica. And thank you to all of you that are taking the time out to invest in yourselves today. We have some nuggets to share with you, and I'd love to share my screen. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, here we go. So I am going to present how you can unlock opportunities with some non-QM loan solutions and close more deals. There's something to be said about in the time of struggle and adversity, there's always opportunity. And that comes with knowing more about your market, learning how to pivot, right? And so hopefully by the end of this presentation, I'm going to be able to give you some of those nuggets so that you can put them in your back pocket and use them to, get more deals and close more business. So let's get to it. So today I'll show you how to close more deals that your competition is losing. And I just want to start off with some stats so we kind of are clear on the percentage of the people that actually need these loans. So in self-employed businesses, Florida ranks among the top states for entrepreneurship with nearly 3 million in self-employed. In Florida leads the nation with 13.3 entrepreneurs per 100 residents, creating a massive pool of these types of buyers. And of course, we have a large percentage that run incorporated businesses. So again, this is an untapped market. We have qualified renters who can't prove income. So what do? I mean, we have 35% of Florida households that rent. Self-employed success stories. We have many successful entrepreneurs and business owners that believe home ownership is out of reach for them because they can't normally qualify for traditional income. So the system failure is not because they can't afford it, but because the system doesn't recognize their income. And friends, this is where the opportunity is. This is where who you work with matters. So as we're going through this presentation, I want to also share some other stats. So for all of you that are familiar with foreign nationals, Florida is one of the #1 states that houses real estate captured and bought by foreign nationals. Okay. Foreign national buyers invested $56 billion in the US residential real estate last year, with Florida capturing about 21%, over 20% of that market. And these particular borrowers need non-QM solutions because when they go to banks or traditional lending, they're most of the time turned down. Florida is exploding with investor growth. Now, this is another group of buyers that I want you to pay attention to. As Veronica was saying, there's all types of non-QM products and availability for solutions. These particular borrowers, investors, are literally coming into Florida in droves. So they're projecting that Miami, Orlando, Jacksonville in general are going to have an uptick in percentage of investors coming into their market to build their portfolios. What does that mean? It means that we have an opportunity to capture more market share and then also provide more solutions in your current market. So how do we provide these solutions? What does that mean? So for our self-employed business owners, we have all types of solutions. Most of these self-employed business owners are not claiming all of their income on their tax return for various reasons, right? We all know. But to circumvent that and to provide solutions so they can qualify for home buying, they can use bank statement loans. And these are minimal down programs, guys. I mean, we have 10% down on bank statement loans. So we have the ability to average their 12 to 24 months bank statements and use the deposits as income. We can also use 1099 only loans. So this is a great loan for just real estate agents in general. We're using the 1099 only. We're using whatever that is reporting on the 1099, and we can use that for qualifying income. So who is this perfect for? Yourselves, of course. Uber drivers, freelancers, and sales representatives. So a quick case study, I actually closed a loan for a buyer that sold insurance to self-employed business owners, and she had $350,000 on her 1099. The bank down the street was telling her that she had to put 30% down because of the income that she was writing off. We did hers with 10% down, and she got very close to a conventional rate. She was happy. She had to put less money down, thus giving her more assets and reserves when she moved into her new home. So profit and loss only. If anyone is familiar with this particular document, it's usually designed and constructed by your CPA. We actually have lenders in that we have access to that will use the profit and loss only. Whatever that's reported by the CPA, as long as they sign it and put their license number on the profit and loss statement, we can use that for income. Now, for all of you that are on the call, you might ask, well, what if we don't have any of these items? What if we don't have the P&L? What if we don't have the bank statements or any of that? That's completely okay for a self-employed business owner, because guess what? Like Veronica was saying earlier, we have a huge wealth transfer that's about to happen where people are going to be inheriting a lot of wealth. Well, that means that you're going to have a lot of high net worth individuals, but maybe not verifiable income. That's okay. We can use assets for their income and use that to qualify, or we can go completely no ratio, which means that there's no documentation whatsoever. We are just looking at the assets. And we're closing that file, that type of file right now with the FIG team. So investor-focused financing solutions, what's so amazing about these particular solutions also is that there's no income verified at all. So when you're having conversations with your buyers, your database, your sphere, let them know there's more ways to qualify for types of loans to build wealth in real estate. So for your DSCR loans, these are your investor loans. Instead of using cash, the complete cash to buy the house, they can leverage that cash and use financing. And there's no income at all that you have to use. And we're just looking at the rents versus the mortgage. The rents are reported on the appraisal, and that's how we are gauging what the rents are for that particular property. We have fix and flip financing lenders as well. So say you have a buyer that wants to buy a house, but it needs a little work. Well, guess what? We can actually provide financing. It's an interest only term, short term, while they're doing the renovations. There's no income whatsoever. This is completely collateral based. So these close in 2.5 weeks or less. And we also have ground up construction for your investors. And they can build, whatever they would want. So I have lenders that will go up to 10 units. And those are also no income verified. So mining for clients, I know Veronica mentioned this earlier in the call. You can mine your database. This is huge right now because you probably have gold sitting there waiting for you, because these particular solutions, maybe there's clients there that have been turned down because of their debt ratio, because they were using their tax returns. Maybe they were turned down because they didn't have any verification whatsoever, but they have a lot of assets. Let's reignite that database, ask the questions, get familiar with what their current situation is, and then find out if any of these solutions might be something that they could use. We can also search for clients using hashtags, going into your groups, your Facebook groups, TikTok, and your Instagram. And then one that I thought was really nice to kind of reignite your database is leveraging tools like audience.co. And this is used for lead generation. It's sending AI note cards to your client database. And then you can actually set up a mail and text campaign as well. So as I was saying earlier, we were able to help a client, overcome the approval with alternative documentation. This is a case study I wanted to mention. A Miami salon owner came in. She was rejected by 3 banks. Tax return showed minimal profit. We used a 24-month bank statement loan, closed it, easy peasy, and then she was able to refer more business. We're in an industry where we build our business on referrals. These particular programs and solutions, they are only going to help you get those referrals. So if you want to have a non-QM cheat sheet, so you can have all of these bulleted programs at your leisure and right next to you, you can follow me at Home Lending with Jess on IG, and then DM me and I can send you the cheat sheet and some objection handlers as well. And that's it. Any questions? Does anyone have any questions, guys? Let's see.
Hey Jess, good morning. Good afternoon. How are you?
Hi.
This is Edward, by the way.
Hi, Edward.
So, I just had a question about the DSCR loan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if maybe you can kind of go into a little more detail about that loan. I do hear it a lot come, across my desk, but I've just been curious about it. Never really got too much information on that.
Sure. I love that you're reaching out. So the DSCR, it stands for Debt Service Coverage Ratio. And what that means, Edward, is that when your client is ready to purchase a home that they want to use for an investment, we want to make sure before they go under contract that the rents for that particular property are going to cover the mortgage payment for that property. Now, I do have lenders that will, they have, other options as far as going below the rent, right? But we really want to get the best pricing for the client and make sure that they're cash flowing. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? So for that investor, once they're ready to put an offer on the home, I would have already, had them apply. I will look at that particular house, enter in the taxes, the information on the property, and then we're going to kind of work as a team to figure out if the rents in that particular area for that size home are going to cover the mortgage payment based on that client's overall financial picture, such as their credit score and how much they're putting down. Does that make sense?
Yes. So, is there a minimum down payment?
Yes, so you want to keep it around 20-25%. Again, this is all about the ratios, right? So 20-25% is really where it's at. I have lenders that will do 15% down, but I see that depending on the market, the size of the home, it's usually 20-25%. That is like the sweet spot to making sure that ratios are covered.
Okay. And then,
Okay.
so if you found the property, put 25% down payment, um, then ideal, whatever the costs are for that investment. I guess the interest rates, are they typically around the same as conventional FHA, or are they tend to be a little bit more?
I love that question. They're a little bit higher, but not as high as you would think. Like right now, I'm pricing out investor loans in the sixes, probably high sixes, low sevens. And so, we do have very competitive rates. And, in addition to that question, I wanted to piggyback on that. With the 75 plus different lenders that I have access to, that you now have access to, we can shop around for that rate. So it's not a one and done. We can actually look around and see who's priced out differently because there's all types of different lenders that we work with, and they all have different parameters.
Got it. And now, just out of curiosity, I know you mentioned Florida a few times. Are we specifically speaking about Florida, or is this kind of across the 50 states?
Edward, you're on point today. I love these questions. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned that. They're all over the United States. You can literally work depending on how you get referrals from real estate agents. I can do DSCRs anywhere in the country. I think there might be two states that are a little weird. New York being one of them, I think, but
Ah,
there's
that's
a
it.
couple states.
That was it. I
Yeah,
was
there's a
waiting to
couple
hear
of
it.
yeah, DSCR. I mean, what I can do is I can check on that, Edward, because I do have lenders that we're looking into New York, and I believe they're like right. I think that they might be getting an approval now that I'm thinking about it. So we have all types of lenders, like I said, and so why don't you reach out to me and we can talk privately about that.
That's fine. I appreciate it, Jess. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so we had a couple of questions. Well, Eli asked, what is driving investors to this market? I don't know if he asked that question while I was taking a call because someone called me. I don't know if that question was already answered, Jess. But Eli put that in the chat. What is driving these investors to these markets that you actually referenced? Was that question answered?
My Miami, Orlando, Jacksonville.
Yeah, what
Jackson,
you see particularly driving investors to these markets?
I know Jacksonville was a market that investors like just because of the entry level as far as the purchase price amounts in that particular region. So it's a lot cheaper. Miami,
I
listen,
rent.
Miami's yes, 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 exactly. And just the likability, the desirability in general. I mean, we have Orlando being like a top tourist area in the state of Florida, so that's a huge one. We have all types of people that are coming from, the West Coast all the way into Florida so that they can get their investments Airbnb'd, short term by the parks. I mean, we have all types of just desirability in all of these areas. Jacksonville being, one of the places that is growing rapidly, but they have a smaller entry as far as the lower purchase prices.
And in your presentation, pardon me if you did say this while I was on, how quickly can you close a DSCR loan?
3 weeks,
3
literally.
weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, and then maybe you asked this to answer this question or not, but how many DSCR loans can you have?
Oh, you can have as many as you want.
I have 5.
Yeah,
And
you
by
can you
the
can
way,
have many, and that's one of the things that investors love as well.
and Eli, I see you on the screen, obviously, so you're like top of mind. As you know, we also are able to do DSCR in Puerto Rico. I have Ian, who actually Jessica is going to be chatting with him to see how we can have them as one of our preferred lenders in Puerto Rico, but they do finance in Puerto Rico, and that's how I actually purchased 3 of my properties in Puerto Rico. And I know Banco Popular and Oriental have kind of like, they're like, I would say like the monopoly of there, but like this particular portfolio lender caters to people who come out from the States to Puerto Rico and have, again, like the scenario where limited docs or bank statements or entrepreneurs that don't want to show everything on paper. It's a really great product. So we can also help you in Puerto Rico. But again, even if you don't go through us, like I have a connection that you guys can reach out to. I have a couple questions here, Jessica, if no one else has a question. Um, if we are talking to a client like, hey, how do you recommend them approaching that person who's not familiar with this type of investment strategy, and
Mhm.
like how they would, let's say they don't have 25% hanging around in their bank account, but let's say they have it in their 401k or their IRA, or they can do a loan on their life insurance policy. How
Mhm.
do recommend they approach that client?
Yeah, if I was with a client and I was trying to build a rapport to uncover that opportunity, I would simply have the conversation and say, okay, Mr. Investor, have you ever thought about scaling your business and actually building your portfolio larger than just your one or two that you have right now? Because you're telling me that, you can only buy with this much cash. Have you ever thought about using other resources, such as a 401k or other financial investment vehicles, to actually put towards your investment and use financing to leverage? Have you ever thought about leveraging your cash so that you can scale? What does that look like? Well, Mr. Investor, you know what it looks like. You can use financing, put a portion of money down, and then get into the property, still be able to cash flow, earn that the appreciation over time, and then you can keep going and buy multiple properties, and thus you're just increasing your portfolio and your cash at the same time.
And I love that, right? I love that I would say conversation starter. And you said, Mr. Investor, what if it's a buyer who doesn't even realize that they have the potential to be an investor? Because I think investing starts somewhere, right? So how do we get our past clients to realize they're sitting on equity or an opportunity that can unlock their portfolio to grow, that they don't even know is an asset that they're sitting on?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually did this exact exercise in my own database because I wanted to go back into my home buyers that I had closed a couple years back and go into those borrowers that I knew were business professionals, worked at tech companies, maybe they had been there a while. And I went through that database and I said, you know what, let me call them and see exactly, how they're enjoying their house. First of all, that's the number one question I open up with is, so how's the house coming? Are you enjoying it? Have you done anything to it? Tell me about what's going on in your life. Catch me up. And they'll tell me, hey, have you ever thought about, building a real estate portfolio and maybe investing in real estate? Well, Jess, what does that look like? I have kind of thought about taking a HELOC out of my home, or I maybe have thought about maybe having an investment property or a second home in the mountains because my wife loves camping. I mean, all of these things are going to come up in conversation, and then you just spin it into, well, I personally have a preferred mortgage broker that has really creative solutions that don't require income. So you don't have to worry about your debt ratio. And on top of that, you can leverage your cash. So you don't have to deplete all of your funds. You can start small, invest step by step, and taking a portion of those funds and then building your real estate portfolio from there.
So good. So good. I think that was a master class on how to check on your clients. How many of you guys agree with
Yes.
that? That just in general, how's the house coming along? What have you done to the house? I just want to catch up and see how things are going. Oh, and by the way,
Mhm.
because you know your client well enough, you know that they have, assets. And now the next step is to say, like, what are we doing with growing your portfolio? Let's get you started.
Exactly. Yeah,
Cool.
exactly. And there's so much, database, there's so much gold in the database. If you just start calling and just reigniting and having those conversations again to see where they are, the opportunities are going to just fall in your lap.
So good. So good. All right. Anybody else have any questions? And then if no questions, any further questions, we can go over some scenarios and then or have
Mhm.
a couple more minutes of a mastermind on what you're seeing in the market outside of DSCR, where we think interest rates are going, like kind of things that they should know about. If no one else has any questions, but if you do have any questions, now's the time to unmute yourself and just hop on the mic. And Jessica is ready for the hot seat because she is that good. She can answer anything.
Hey Jess, it's Chris from New York. Um,
Hi.
Hello. I'm more of a listing agent. I really don't work with buyers, but I'm getting agents with pre-approvals that don't look that great, but they say, oh no, it's a DSR or something, DCR pre-approval. Does it say it on the pre-approval that it is or no?
It will not, and it's mainly because the origination, that's a great question, Chris. Thank you. It's mainly because the origination systems are not set up to label DSCR asset depletion. They just say conventional FHA VA, and that's something that probably will evolve into being corrected or at least looked at soon. What I would do is call the mortgage broker and ask them directly, like, what type of loan is this?
Yeah.
And listen, they should be very comfortable in explaining that to you.
Okay, and the last one, hopefully. I do before I present an offer. But several say, oh, I always ask for proof of funds as well when they're saying they're putting 20% because
Oh, for
buyers are
sure.
liars. And
Mhm.
oh, they don't have the cash. A friend or someone's gonna give it to them. Does it need to be? And I'm like, well, I still need either a gift letter or proof of something showing me where the money's coming from. Does it need to be the buyer's money or could it be gifted the 15 or 20%?
Gift funds are allowed on DSCR. And also, I want to just reiterate too, is that not only can they use their funds out of their investment vehicles or retirement or savings, but they can also add a partner to their LLC because they're closing in the name of the LLC, right? So there is opportunity to add a partner that can actually help fund the other part of the deal and they can go in together. That's also allowed as a credit partner too, if their credit's not where it should be. So, yes.
And Chris,
Thanks.
don't be shy as a listing agent to also say, you know what, I have no problem, but I've seen some wonky ones. Like, I would really feel comfortable if you spoke to my lender that I trust, that I know can get the job done. That is
Exactly.
something for
Yeah,
years
do
I've
that.
done as a listing agent. If I feel like, this agent might not, feel like they got their ducks in a row, or this lender, I've never heard of them. I've done that to the point that I mean, again, I don't know what's allowed in your state, but I know what I have had in the past, depending on the confidence level, we've been able to say, we're willing to make this deal work, but I really want to get a second opinion from our preferred lender because I need to make sure that this is buttoned up.
Yep. Yep.
So, great
Thanks.
question, though. Great question. Anyone else have any questions for Jess on DSCR before we pivot? I know we usually try to take up the hour. We don't have to take the full hour today if you guys don't have any burning desire, but I definitely want to get her insight on some other lending products. If you guys have no other questions, but I welcome the questions first. Come on. My mom is talking behind me.
Oh, oh. And we
All
have
right, so
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Jess.
No, I was just going to say fix and flip, put that in your back pocket too, because these usually work in tandem with investors. They'll get into a fix and flip, and then after that is done, then they'll refinance.
Oh yeah, that was one of my questions. Any prepayment
Yeah.
penalty, any prepayment penalties, and how quickly can they offload it?
So this is okay. So for the fix and flips, there's no prepays, and for new construction, no prepay. For the DSCRs, we have zero prepays, but it's just a higher interest rate. As you can imagine, the bank makes money because they have the loan longer. So the prepay penalties can go anywhere from 0 to 5. They can be step down prepays as well. So they are tiered. So 5% the first year, 4% the second, 3% the third, and on and on. Those actually have the best terms and the best rates across the board at the lenders because they know they're going to typically perhaps have the loan longer. But yes, so the fix and flip financing, if they're doing renovations, no prepay, then they would refinance it into DSCR. Those are 30-year loans, by the way. So payments are usually pretty good on those. And then the new construction, there's no prepay for the investor.
Good to know. That's good to know. What else is happening in the market, Jess, on the financing side that maybe they should be privy of, they should know, any special programs, or anything that just we can pivot and not just talk about DSCR, but in general on the financing side of things. Is there anything that you're seeing that is getting buyers excited? And maybe if you are a listing agent and you're working with sellers, you can educate the sellers on what to expect with the market.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. So we have all types of programs in addition to the non-QM that I was speaking about. We also have, right now we have a couple deals that are closing 100% financing for FHA buyers. I know that, if you have any clients that are trying to get the DPA programs, I know the Hometown Heroes was just released today. There's only a limited amount of occupations that qualify for that particular program, and the counties and cities, they do have, their own strict requirements such as income limits, purchase price limits, debt ratio requirements. But if they fall out of that and they need a little bit more flexibility, 100% financing with the FHA product is pretty fantastic. It allows them to pay the down payment back in a small second, or it can be forgiven depending on the lender that we go with. It's a great program. I mean, it's not out of pocket, and the rates are really, really competitive. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, and this just came up, this is a very creative product for people that are going through bankruptcy. It's called the Dream Builder program. And it basically allows people that are recently out of bankruptcy discharged. Typically they want to wait 2-3 years before they can get the financing. This particular program allows them to get into the home, rent it from an agency that's approved by FHA. The agency buys the house, and the buyer rents it from the agency, and then they can assume, this is the most amazing part, they can assume the loan after 12 months. So it helps people get into the home, during that transition period. And then after they are out of the bankruptcy seasoning, the 2 years or whatnot, then they can completely, maybe refinance into a lower interest rate, maybe, sell the home, whatever the case may be. But it's a creative product. It does take a little bit longer to close, but it's just something out there in case anyone needs that kind of solution.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, guys, I am so glad that you guys got to experience Jess today. She's amazing. She's very knowledgeable. She actually just funded a loan for us, clear to close in 10 days.
A
Actually,
VA.
like this is a
Yeah.
big deal. And I know for a fact, because I've witnessed her, this woman is feisty. She will get the job done. She does not take no for an answer. When she is like determined for something, she is gonna make it happen, moving mountains and just making the calls. So I just want you guys to know, if you don't have a trusted DSCR investor connect, she can help you, as well as for commercial lending as well. We also have a new partnership there where you can also like call her even for commercial lending questions, and she will connect you with
Yes.
the right commercial lender, and of course your traditional financing. But if you guys don't have
And
a
I
trust
just,
who can
I,
educate you,
I,
she can educate you.
yeah, no, thank you so much, Veronica. And I just got a text from my account executive, just so you know. I have built relationships with my account executives at the lenders on purpose, so that if I need something, they respond. And New York is game on. So Edward, we need to talk. DSCRs, New York, we need to talk. And if you have any questions, like Veronica was saying about the commercial, anything like that, let's just come together, collaborate, try to figure out how we can fund more deals for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, don't limit yourself to Florida. You guys are experts and you have connections everywhere. And if you're on social media and you are, connected to people outside of your market, let them know you can help them in any market. Get those referral fees. Let them know you work with a lender that can fund in multiple states and help them build their portfolio regardless of what state you are in. Be that person that can connect them to their next home ownership or portfolio transaction or home or growth, whatever it is. You're the first person they should think about everywhere, no matter where you're at. You can help them. Yes, thank you so much. This was super, super great. And yes, you guys can find the replay of this on YouTube. Franny will get this out as well. And thank you guys for being here today. We're gonna wrap up a little early. Like this is good. Are you guys cool with that? Unless you guys want to sit around and chat and ask any questions. Other than that, I think we're good for the day. You guys decide as a group, unless you want I don't know, to ask questions. What do we
Can
got?
I say something really quick?
Yeah.
If anyone wants the non-QM cheat sheet or any objection handlers, I would just follow me at Home Lending with Jess on my IG, so I can send that out to you and connect. That's Home Lending with Jess is my Instagram. Send me a DM and I'll get that information to you so that you can start having that as a resource. Okay. I would love to connect with anyone on the call. Thank you.
Hey, Jess, can you send that over to me, and I'll also have Franny send it out via email?
Yes.
But you guys gotta follow her on IG. So we'll make sure that her IG handler is on the email. But yeah, I would love to get that cheat sheet out to as many people as possible.
Excellent. Thank you so much for everything.
Let's show her some love. Make sure you go follow her on IG, guys. And she is actually also part of our EXP community. So just know you have a trusted partner here.